Hey guys, welcome to a live session today for how we're going to build a trading bot. Welcome everyone. We're still waiting for a couple people to come in, so I'm going to give things a second. We're also, by the way, we're also live on YouTube. So let me actually share my screen here with you guys so you can see that. Share my screen. All right, so we're actually live on YouTube right now. So if you guys want to get a recording of this afterwards, or to see other sessions that we come out with, all you need to do is search for Lumibot within, or sorry, Lumiwealth within YouTube, which is the name of our company, Lumiwealth, right? And you can find our YouTube channel here, right? Which has a lot of great content. We're gonna be putting out lots and lots of good stuff over the next couple weeks and months, right? But you can definitely go there right now. We're live currently. So if you want to get a recording of this afterwards, all you have to do is click on this here. This automatically will turn to a recording and you'll be able to watch it, right? You can also watch some of our past stuff. We're going to be putting out things in the future on machine learning, on options trading, and on a lot of our different strategies. So we're going to be putting lots and lots of stuff in this channel. So keep an eye out. We're also doing a few cool interviews with some prominent people in the finance industry. So definitely keep an eye out on what is going on here. And of course, I feel like I have to say this, make sure you subscribe and hit this alert button so that when things do come out, you do get that, you're the first one to see it and you get the alert, right? Yes, that's our YouTube channel. All right, okay, so we have a couple people here already joined, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so welcome everyone to today's session. It's as usual, very exciting to have you guys here. And today what we're going to be covering is how to build a trading robot, right, using Lumibot. Okay, this is our agenda for today. First, I want to get to know you guys a little bit, so I'm going to ask about kind of who's on the call, and that way we can kind of tailor this more specifically to you and kind of the things that you need, right? After that, we're going to have a little introduction, which kind of introduces myself and the company and that sort of thing. And then we're going to talk about algorithmic trading, the returns that we got ourselves. Then we're going to talk about the code and show you the demo, which is, I think, always the coolest part, is seeing this thing actually working and trading for you, right? And then afterwards, we're going to tell you about our course and kind of how you can go ahead and join the course afterwards as well, right? Okay, I also have a section for questions at the end, but please feel free to ask questions throughout this entire webinar. I really like having it as interactive as possible. So just make sure that you type in either into the chat or into the Q&A. You can put in questions there, and I'll be answering these live as we're going through the course. So don't feel like you need to leave it till the end. It's actually a lot better when we can have this discussion throughout, right? Okay, so first of all, let's get to know you guys a little bit, right? So if you guys can type this into the chat, let me know what your occupation is, if you know how to program, yes or no, and then how much investment experience you have. If you could let me know there, type that into chat. Basically, it's that little chat button, all right? Sometimes under more, for me, it's under more. I have to click on chat there. And you guys can type in all this stuff. And just let me know kind of where you guys are coming from. So once again, that's, what is your occupation, if you know how to program, and what your investment experience is. For me, if I were to fill this out, my occupation is the CEO of this company. I teach a few of our classes, right? As well as actually, run the company's day-to-day operations, right? My programming, I do know how to program. I've been programming for over 25 years, right? And then my investment experience, I've been investing since maybe 2006. So we almost have 20 years of experience there, right? All right, so we got a couple of chats here. So we have here from Nick, sorry, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. So student computer in programming, 1 year of investment experience and does know how to program them. Great, that's awesome. So from Andrew, we got a trader, no experience in programming, right? Okay, so we can definitely teach you that, and that's actually part of our courses. We'll teach people how to code as well. And then Caleb says, CEO X4, some trading experience in Forex. Cool, awesome. Yeah, we're adding in stuff right now where you'll be able to trade Forex and other instruments like that very shortly. So it's very cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. And then there's one more here. Know some Solidity. Oh, that's great. Solidity is very interesting. For those of you who don't know, Solidity is how you build Ethereum contracts. So basically, if you want to make some new coins and that sort of thing, Solidity is the way to go. Cool. It's very interesting. Awesome stuff. We're actually thinking about making a course on that sort of thing in the future as well. Okay, cool. So let me introduce you guys to myself a little bit here. So first of all, who am I? My name is Robert Grezik. I'm the CEO of Lumibot. My background is, I used to work on Wall Street before this. I worked at several different companies out in New York, basically running software teams. One of those companies was a company called Greystone, which does mortgage lending, and I helped them create a platform. So my software team that I was running create a platform where we put through probably to date about like 20 or $30 billion in mortgages, right? So it's really making that mortgage process a lot easier. So definitely have a lot of experience there with larger numbers and that sort of thing. And then after that, I worked at a company called Voyager. And if you guys know anything about crypto, it's basically a cryptocurrency broker. Similar, very, very similar to Coinbase, but with a few little minor details. So I was employee number 5 there. Kind of basically when I joined the company, it didn't really exist. We were just like in a WeWork and just planning out how this might look. Fast forward a few years, that company is now trading on the stock market worth somewhere around $3 billion. Right. So definitely very proud of that to be able to help start that sort of company. Before all that, I mean, I was one of those kids that learned how to code when I was like 12, right? So I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I'm not that old, but I do have a lot of trading, a lot of programming experience, everything from coding to managing software teams and all that sort of thing, systems engineering, all that kind of stuff. And I also have a master's in finance, which is where kind of a lot of my finance knowledge comes from initially. And then, of course, obviously worked in finance in New York, which kind of took things to a new level, right? So that's my background. Lumi Wealth is a company that we started about 2 years ago. And this company, what we're really dedicated to is using technology to help people get better investment returns, right? Especially for people, like something I always found frustrating was we worked on Wall Street, and people got to know like lots of these billionaire types and that sort of thing. They have access to investments that really the average everyday person can't get access to. And I believe very strongly that we can use technology to bridge that gap, right? To allow everyone really to have access to different kinds of investments and things that can make you quite a bit more money than the average kind of thing that people do. Also, that of course means that we focus on education, helping people build these sort of things. And we're also building out actual technology, which you will probably see in the next 6 months. We're going to start releasing a lot of these like SaaS products where we have like a website and you can actually do this stuff through the website, right? So keep an eye out for that. Before we really jump into it, make sure you're following us on YouTube. If you guys joined a little later, you might have missed this, but go on YouTube, type in Lumi Wealth, and make sure you subscribe to us. This is where you're going to find the recording of this video, which is right here. We're live right now on YouTube as well, right? And you'll be able to see anything going live in the future. Make sure you subscribe and hit the alert button, because that's how you're going to get a ton of free content going forward. We're going to be releasing lots and lots of stuff on this channel, lots of interviews with people in the finance industry, some examples of our trading strategies. There's going to be, when our options trading course comes out, we're going to be live on the YouTube channel as well. So make sure you subscribe there so you can stay up to date with all these things. Okay, and then another thing I want to bring up to you guys is our Discord channel. Right? If you guys are not familiar with Discord, I'm going to put this, by the way, this link here. I'm putting it into the chat, right? So you guys can actually join while we're talking, right? But basically, this is Discord here. If you join, you get access to our general channel, our stocks or crypto channel, where people are discussing a lot of things around this. You will also get to know a lot of our alumni that have gone through our courses and have built out some of these algorithms, so you can ask them questions about this sort of thing, right? and it's generally like a great place to get to know people and get to know some strategies and learn more about algorithmic trading in general. It's like a chat kind of thing. If you guys are familiar with Slack, it's very similar to Slack, where you can chat with each other. You could also start voice discussions, which we started doing lately, and all that sort of thing. So if you were to join, our Discord channel, if you were to join one of our classes, then you also get access to some of these private channels. So here's, for example, our private channel for our machine learning class that's starting tonight, right? Our first class is starting tonight. So we're getting people into this channel, and you see a big discussion here. This is our May class, where only people that are registered first class get to communicate in here. So you get the private nature of that. Another thing you also get when you join us from a Discord front is you get to join this this discussion hour, which is very cool. I'm going to stop this right now, but basically what you do is as soon as you join that channel, your mic turns on and you can have a discussion. If you guys know that new app, I keep forgetting the name of it, but basically where you can go in and everyone speaks over the phone kind of thing, or over through the app. Really, it's not over the phone. That's the kind of feeling that you get here. So basically it's one time every week. We do this every Tuesday night, where people join in and we just discuss different topics, right? So this is not a lecture. This is just a way of getting to know other people across all the different classes that we have, and everyone that's building all their different algorithms, right? So for example, last week, we had a very interesting discussion talking about different trading algorithms, and people are showing off, this is my trading strategy and how it's done. This is my trading strategy, how it's done. And this is available to all of our students to be able to join this discussion hour. So you get that as well when you join our classes. I have a chat here. You mean Clubhouse? Yes, exactly. That's the one I was thinking of. Yes. Thank you, Caleb. Clubhouse is exactly what it's like. So we kind of have like that Clubhouse style thing where you join once a week and everyone turns on their mics, and we can have a nice lively discussion that's not necessarily a lecture, but you get to learn from other students and see what they're doing and kind of communicate around all that sort of stuff, right? Okay, so that's our Discord. Definitely suggest that you guys join. It's a very vibrant community, lots of great stuff going on there. Another thing is we're gonna have a survey at the end of this webinar. So make sure you take that survey so that we can improve this webinar over time and make it better and better for you guys. But then also so that we can kind of get some feedback on how we should be structuring our courses and what we can do better as a company. I always love getting feedback from you guys because I always want to make things better and better and better. You know, happy customers is what we're all about, you know, and just making a difference in the world in general, right? Okay, cool. So now that we got all that covered, let's talk about the actual topic that you guys came here to watch, right? So algorithmic trading, what is it? Why should you care? Right, so I'm assuming a lot of you guys know what it is considering you joined the webinar, right? But just to rehash it and talk about why this is such a special thing, right? So first of all, algorithmic trading, what it is basically using software to inform your trades, right? And it could also automatically trade for you, right? So a lot of people think algorithmic trading is only executing trades. That's not the case. Some of our students prefer to actually get notifications and place the trades themselves. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just depends on how you want to take it. But you can build either one, right? So you can either build something that is looking at data and kind of saying, oh my goodness, there's some new news came out and we need to be jumping on this right now. Let's buy the stock and send a notification. Or you could just have the thing do it for you, right? You could have machine learning automatically trade for you, buy and sell. You can have things that rebalance your portfolio automatically based on different macroeconomic factors. There's all sorts of different things that you can do using algorithmic trading, right? So why do we care about this and why does this matter, right? So this matters a lot because of the results that we're seeing, right? So first of all, let's just generally think about this for a second. Who do you think is going to win in a battle? A robot that could trade, you know, thousands of times a minute and analyze all the information in the world, or do you think you're going to win by sitting on Robinhood typing into things, right? You know, just to let you know, I think it's something like 85% of all trades right now are run by robots, right? When you're trading, when you're on your Robinhood, things like that, you're not trading against other people. You're trading against robots, right? Only 15% of the market is actually people going and buying and selling stuff, right? So you're already in a place, we're already in a place where most of the world, most of the trading world is doing this sort of stuff, right? Okay. And then, let's take a look at some of the firms also, some of the companies, the hedge funds that are doing this sort of thing. They're known for being good at this, right? Probably one of the number one firms that stands out is Renaissance Technologies, right? These guys are like hardcore math heads, right? And all they do is just build algorithms, right? This automatically trades for them. They've been doing this for many years, right? It's run by a guy named Jim Simmons. He has a really interesting book, actually. It's The Man Who Solved the Market. This is, if you guys haven't read this, it's a fascinating book. It blew my mind when I went through this. But essentially, it's about the guy that runs, Renaissance, or used to run. I think he stepped down now. But the guy that created Renaissance, Jim Simmons, is all about him and how they created this quant hedge fund called Renaissance, right? Now, this quant hedge fund, Renaissance, has done really, 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 really well over the past couple of years, right? So let's put it this way. These guys manage about $110 billion of assets, right? And their leading fund, the Medallion Fund, which, by the way, they shut off. That no one's even allowed to invest in this anymore because they don't want any new investors. They basically want to keep the money to themselves. And, obviously, like trying to scale this thing beyond a certain point kind of gets to be impossible at some point. But this fund returns 39% on average, okay? So to give you an idea of how impressive that is, the stock market as a whole does about 10% a year on average, and it's been doing very well lately. You know what I mean? These guys have been making 39% a year. And, we'll look at like the past year and you'll see these people that made, 50%. Oh, what is that? 50%. I made a ton of money. We're not talking about one time. We're talking about year in, year out for 30 years straight and not a lot of volatility. These guys, I think they only had 1 year out of the past 30 where they lost money, and they only lost like 1%. So imagine that. Imagine making 40% a year, never losing money. And it's always consistently 39% a year. Actually, last year, I think they made 80%, by the way, right? Because, we're talking about a lot of people made money last year. These guys made 80% last year from what I heard, right? We're talking about 39% on average, right? Let's talk about compound interest behind that, right? So think about if you put in $1,000, right? And you waited 30 years, okay? Not that long of a time. Let's say, closer to like retirement or something like that, right? 30 years is, this is how we usually talk about investing, that sort of thing, right? After 30 years, $1,000 would turn to $24 million. So imagine that. Imagine all you did is put in $1,000. Imagine if you put in 100,000, right? You put in 100,000 bucks, you'll end up with, 2.4 billion, right? Like that's the kind of returns that these guys are getting. And it made them fabulously rich. If you read the book, it's actually kind of crazy, the things that they're doing. These guys are like buying houses, like mansions, and forgetting about them, and like all sorts of just absolutely ridiculous stuff. Like they're making so much money, it's ridiculous. That's Renaissance, right? But they're not the only ones that do this. And again, you should read this book. This is a very interesting book to read, and it'll kind of tell you more about this. They're not the only ones though, right? Like they're not an outlier by any means, right? Some other funds that are doing the same thing is Two Sigma, for example. These guys manage $60 billion in assets and also significantly beat the stock market every year with low risk. Same thing with Citadel. They do the same thing. They do algorithmic trading, and they're making tons of money off this. Bridgewater's another one. If you've heard of Ray Dalio, he's the one that runs this fund. They actually use a lot of data to inform their trades, right? And these guys obviously have done very well. They're one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, right? And then D.E. Shaw is another one. You guys might recall this company. So fun fact about D.E. Shaw, they're obviously into this algorithmic trading and all that kind of thing. They're really big into algo trading and make a lot of money doing it. But fun fact about them is that a person that you know very well used to work here, and that's someone by the name of Jeff Bezos, right? This is how Jeff basically started his career when he was working at this hedge fund, D.E. Shaw in New York. You've probably heard the story. This is the hedge fund that they're talking about. It was this algorithmic trading hedge fund. Then he obviously left the company and went off to start Amazon, and now one of the richest people in the world. I think the richest. I think they flip-flop a little bit, but obviously a very good place to be, right? And it's also where he got a lot of his ideas for Amazon from as well. These companies obviously pay very well. they make tons of money themselves, but they also pay a lot to new employees. The base salary, from what I hear at most of these places, is about 350 grand a year base. And then depending on how well the fund works, you could make somewhere of, you know, 3, 4, 5 million bucks working at a place like this, depending on how well the hedge fund works, because they give you a bonus, right? So definitely very good places to work and very good places to learn from about how they're making money. So I have a question here about the book name. So the book name is The Man Who Solved the Market. I'm also going to put the link in here in case you guys want to click on it in Amazon. Is going to Amazon.ca, but other case, it's the man who solved the market is the name of the book. Very interesting book, right? If you weren't convinced about algorithmic trading before this book, reading this book will definitely convince you of the power that it can create. You know, what credentials are needed to work there? Yeah, if you want to work at one of these hedge funds, it's quite difficult to get a job at one of these hedge funds. Of course, you know, they don't pay this money to just anyone. You know, usually they hire like PhDs and things like that. They can be very selective about who decides to work there because, you know, they have a ton of money and they can pick and choose whoever they want. But the point is that you can create this on your own, right? So, you know, you could work there as well, or you can, you know, use kind of the techniques that they're doing and use it for your own trading as well, right? So here's how we did last year, right? This is one of our investment funds. Some of our other funds actually did quite a bit better than this. We manage money for a few different people. This is one of our funds. As you can see, last year, the stock market was up, S&P was up 17.5%. We were up 53% in the same time frame. So we about tripled the market last year. And this is using data to inform a lot of our trading decisions, right? Yeah. And of course, like I said, we have other funds too that didn't even better than that. But tripling the stock market, I think, is not too shabby, right? Cool. Okay. So let's talk about the code and let's walk you guys through a demo so you guys can actually see this stuff in action. All right. So if you guys know a little bit about coding, you can check us out on GitHub. This is our GitHub project, Lumibot, which basically helps you back test and trade strategies, makes it very easy to go from one to the other. We're adding in options trading capabilities, futures trading capabilities, Forex trading capabilities, crypto capabilities. We're adding in all that stuff over the next couple of weeks as well, right? So it really gives you a lot of flexibility and makes it very easy for you to build a trading strategy, back test it to see how it would have done, how it would have performed over a specific time frame, and then automatically start trading with it as well, right? So we give you that kind of ability. You know, inside this library, we have a lot of example strategies. We have different data sources they could hook up to. We have brokers they could hook up to. And of course, it's easy to create your own strategy and back test it. That's kind of the whole point of this, right? Okay, cool. So yeah, and another thing about this this GitHub library, make sure that you guys star it and follow it, right? Watch and follow it. Wow, a lot of people fork this actually. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so make sure that you star and watch it because when you do that and you get whenever there's any updates, you'll get notified of those updates. So make sure you star and watch the library, right? Okay, cool. All right. Actually, by the way, one other thing I want to do just to make sure you guys have access to this. Here's a link to the presentation so that you guys can actually follow along. Because I'm realizing there's a bunch of links in here that you may not have access to. So let me send over. There's a link to this. What's it called? The presentation that I'm going through right now, so you guys can like look over it later on if you guys want as well, and so you have access to all the links. Yeah, no problem. Great. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go through a demo. Okay, so so what I'm going to be showing you guys is I'm going to show you guys kind of the capabilities of the spot. Some of these strategies are you know probably good to make money, and some of them are not so good, but they're good to show off kind of like what is possible, right? So I'm going to be showing you both, right? I'm going to walk you through a couple of different strategies here. I'm going to show off a momentum strategy. I'm going to show off a fast trading. We have a better one to show you here. Fast trading strategy. I have a diversification strategy, a debt trading strategy, and a technical analysis strategy. We keep adding more and more as we go. And a lot of these, as we go through the classes, you're going to have access to our library of strategies, right? So if you sign up to our class, not only do you get all the all the course material and that sort of thing, but we're constantly making more and more strategies. So you're going to get access to all those as they go through. All right. Okay, cool. So let's show you the demo. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you something that we call fast trading. Okay, it's our fast trading strategy. I'm going to hit run on this. Okay. And this fast trading strategy, what it does is something quite simple, but shows off kind of the capabilities here. So actually, you know what, let's start from the beginning. So you see here on the broker, I'm going to start from the beginning here so you guys can see kind of what's happening. So this is our broker, okay, Alpaca, right? We teach using this, and we also teach using interactive brokers. So we use two different brokers so far, and we're adding more and more as we go, all right? TradeStation is another one that we're planning on adding in. TD Ameritrade is another one that we're planning, and some crypto brokers as well. So there's lots of these lots of these brokers that we're adding in. Alpaca is the one that we teach with, simply because it's really easy to get up and running, and allows you to, it's easy to use and kind of friendly and easy to get set up and that sort of thing. But you could use other brokers as well, right? So here's Alpaca. This is my paper trading account, so I can show you, so I can mess around with it and show you all these different things. Okay. As you can see, I have some money in here. You can see the graph, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some trades here. Okay. So I'm going to run some strategies. So I'm going to run our fast trading strategy, press play. And then when we go back to the broker, you'll see I'm not going to touch anything. Boom, right? Automatically bought a bunch of stocks. Okay. So what this strategy does is it's going to monitor, right? And we need to keep track of this. So I'm going to open fast trading. It monitors these stocks, right? And you could change these symbols to be whatever you want. SPY, Gold, TLT, Microsoft, Tesla, MCHI, SPXL, and SPXS, right? These are a bunch of different symbols. Holds on to 4 of them at a time, as you can see here. And basically it's saying whatever all the, and watch these, by the way, while I'm talking, you could watch these. You'll see that they swap out, okay? You'll watch the algorithm actually working, right? My hands are free. So what you'll see happen is it checks every 1 minute to see which one of these is doing the best, right? It's a momentum strategy, right? So it's looking at all those symbols and saying, which ones are the hottest right now? Which ones are doing the best, right? And it'll just only buy the hottest symbols and hold on to them, right? Up until, and you see that it's swapped out. So there it goes. So it sold SPXL and it bought Tesla, right? And it's going to keep doing this all day long. It's just going to say which stocks are the hottest, and let's keep those, right? And just hold on to those, right? And then keep swapping every 1 minute. And we're gonna keep trying every 1 minute and reevaluating, right? So we're doing this. It's a really simple momentum strategy, but you can imagine you could do this with pretty much anything. You could look at news sources, which ones are the hottest. You could look at technical indicators and kind of see which ones are breaking out, that sort of thing. You could trade based off of like economic data that comes out, news. There's lots and lots of different ways that you could trade these sorts of things. And this is kind of like just a little demo showing you they can buy a bunch of them at a time and have them swap out and change and basically run this strategy. So we'll give it another 30 seconds or so, and you'll see hopefully that switches again. Sometimes it doesn't switch because sometimes they stay the leaders, right? But yeah, there we go. We see another switch there. And basically it sold Tesla and it bought gold, and you'll see the update in a second. You see the order history updated here. It didn't, yeah, there it is. And now we got rid of Tesla and we bought gold. All right. So it's going to be doing this all day long, just looking at these different stocks. Okay. All right. And here you could see kind of like what it's doing, right? So it tells you why it's doing these things, right? So basically it bought those top symbols because they're kind of flat over the past little bit. Microsoft is actually doing quite well, right? With 0.04. Tesla wasn't doing very well. That's why it swapped it out and sold it, right? So that's kind of what this strategy is doing all day long, right? Okay, cool. All right, so that's one strategy. That's our fast trading strategy, okay? So I'm gonna basically stop this thing, and when we go back, you see automatically it sells everything, and you'll see that happen in a second one updates. There you go, boom. Automatically everything's sold, right? Cool. So that's our fast trading strategy. Another one that I could show you, we have a lot of strategies. We have some that, that could work intraday in the middle of the day. That was a good example of an intraday strategy. We also have a lot of examples of strategies that will trade on, you know, a day-by-day basis, right? So not every algorithm is going to be something that you need to, you know, trade 1,000 times a day, right? You could do, there's different types of strategies that you can employ, right? So here I'm going to put in the momentum strategy, okay? And I'm going to run this, right? And also we got a chat message here. Can you paste a link here in chat? Sorry, what link are you asking for? I pasted a link in the chat earlier to access the presentation. So if you want to check it there, link to slides. Yeah, it should be in the chat already. Let me oh, you know what? I sent it to panelists. I don't know why it does it automatically. Here you go. That's the link to our slides. That means you guys probably also didn't get the link to the book, so I'm going to send that in as well. All right, there you go. Okay, great. So there you go. So I sent you guys those links and hopefully got them. Perfect. Okay. So now, so we had a question here. So what defines the strategy, right? You know, so basically, you know, what defines the strategies? How do we know how this is working? Well, basically it's done in code, right? So this is the definition of the strategy. It's because of all the code that we have and all the technology that we have, these strategies are actually not very long, right? It's pretty simple code. It looks longer than it is. A lot of the stuff we don't even really need in here. 170 lines of code, not that much. A lot of the stuff is boilerplate. And this defines that strategy and tells you exactly how it's working, right? So we have all the different symbols here. We tell it, you know, the quantities of each symbol. And then basically we get their momentums. We sort and say we only want the top few. And then basically here, we're saying which assets we want. So which assets we want to keep, which assets we want to buy, which assets we want to sell. And then we actually execute the orders. So we sell them and then we buy them and we get all that stuff done here. Right. So that's essentially how the strategy is defined. Okay. We also give you a lot of code too, so that you can kind of work off of existing code. So you don't have to make this stuff from scratch. Right. Okay. So another strategy I want to show you guys is our momentum strategy. Okay. And this strategy is very similar to one that I showed you before. The fast trading kind of takes the top 4 momentums out of a bunch and trades it throughout the day. This one's a little bit simpler. This one looks over several days and says which one has done the best. Actually, you can modify it if you want here. I have it basically set to 1 day. You could change this to 10 days or 20 days, 30 days, whatever you want. Basically takes out of these symbols here, the 3 symbols, right? And again, you could change these, right? Out of these 3 symbols, which one has done the best over the 1 day period, over a 1 day period, and it simply buys that one, right? So this is SPY in this case. It says here, VEU was up 0.49%, AGG was up 0.15%, but SPY was up about 0.5%. So that one did the best. So it went ahead and it bought that. And when we go in here, you'll see that it actually purchased that, right? If you give it a second, there we go, okay? And actually purchased that symbol. Now, if I were to leave this running, which is actually what we do with our own money, so we leave these bots running actually on a server. And what it will do is just every day, it just goes in and checks, okay, which one's doing the best. And it'll just automatically swap things out and modify things for you, right? Okay, so let's see here. Let's see the chat. Okay, do you have FX trading strategies as well? We don't have any Forex trading strategies as of yet, but we're adding that in very soon, right? So we'll have Forex trading strategies, I think, probably within the next few weeks. If you guys sign up to our June course, there's a very high likelihood that we'll be able to show you some Forex trading strategies as well when you're going through the course, right? Okay, thanks for that question, Jenna. There's another one that came up here, the chat. I was trying to create a criteria that will scan for stocks that had an ascending curve progression 4 days in a row out of 7. Yeah, you could absolutely build that kind of a strategy using this code here, right? Basically, all you're doing is you can modify some of these strategies here. Depends on if you want to do it daily or if you want to do it within the middle of the day. There's different strategies that you can copy and kind of modify it to be that sort of thing. It's actually not that hard to modify it. And we could walk you through exactly how to do that and more in our classes, right? Great. Thanks for that comment, Phil. And we could definitely do that 100%. Okay, cool. So that's a momentum strategy. Okay, I'll show you a couple other ones, and some of that we actually use with our own money that makes us pretty good returns, right? In a safe kind of, not blowing out the house kind of manner. So here I'm going to show you. One strategy. This is a strategy. If you guys want to be very risk averse, right? Let's say you're managing, your retirement money or your family's retirement money, something like that, and you want to have a strategy that's really, really safe, just because like you rely on this cash and like you don't want to lose things, right? Then you can use this kind of a strategy, right? This is a strategy that Ray Dalio recommends. Okay, we call it our diversification strategy. Okay. And basically what it does is it buys these assets here, SPY, TLT, IEF, GLD, and DJP, in these weightings: 30% SPY, 40% to TLT, which are long-term bonds, 15% to IEF, which is intermediate term bonds, 7.5% to gold, 7.5% into commodities, which is DJP. As you can see here, it went ahead and actually bought those, and boom. It basically took a budget of $50,000 and just broke it up into all these different assets, right? Automatically was able to do that. Okay. So this strategy, this is, like I said, is recommended by Ray Dalio. And the reason why is because it is a very, very safe strategy to invest in, right? And actually does quite well given the types of returns that you get from it, right? So here we have the return from this strategy, where you get, this strategy would have given you 18.7% over this time period, which I'll tell you what the time period was. It was from 2020, January 1st. Actually, you know what? Let's run this over a longer time period so you guys get a better sense. Over the last year, it actually still did quite well. We can modify this, by the way. So what I'm doing here, and I'm going to stop this and run it because it takes a little bit of time. So what I'm doing here is essentially I'm back testing the strategy, right? So I'm saying, let's take this, right, and try it over, a 1 year period, a 2 year period. So basically everything, if we invested over 2020, right, with this strategy, right? So from January 1st, 2020 to January 1st, 2021, and we're using this strategy, we would have almost matched the stock market's performance, right? So 18% over that year in this strategy versus 19% over that year for the S&P 500. But we would have taken significantly less risk. So as you remember, 2020 was like a little bit of a roller coaster ride. That wouldn't have happened if you're in the strategy. And it's actually what we had employed at the beginning of the year in 2020. And it's why we were able to make so much money that year, because we had this strategy in place. When things fell apart, we were fine, right? And we actually had a ton of money left over to be able to invest into tech stocks and things like that. So we actually made a ton of cash in 2020 because of exactly this, right? So as you can see, the volatility is only 11% versus 33%, okay? The Sharpe ratio is very good. If you guys know what that is, the Sharpe ratio is the measure of return in comparison to risk, which is what hedge funds, they all pay attention to this. It's the most important measure because it means that you could actually even borrow money, invest in this, and you'll still be safe and you can make even more money, right? Over that time period, over 2020, it only lost 13% at the worst time period, right? Which is around March, of course, when basically the world was ending last year. Around that same time period, the S&P 500 fell 33%. So your money is actually much safer in this strategy and you're making almost the same amount, right? We could also back test over a longer time period from 2005 until 2021. And when we do that back test, we see that we get 18.7. So we get something very similar over that time period as well, right? Okay, great, perfect. Okay, so we see the strategy is running. So we actually see the assets here, all 5 assets that automatically bought. Okay, when I stop the strategy, it's automatically going to sell everything. Okay, now let me show you another strategy here. So that's our diversification strategy. Let's talk about our technical analysis strategy. This is something that a lot of people are interested in. What this strategy does is essentially, so I'm going to swap this out. I'm going to run technical analysis. Yeah. So when I run this strategy, what it's going to do is it's going to buy 2 assets, SPY and TLT. Okay. SPY being the stock market, right? The S&P 500, TLT being bonds, right? And it's going to buy them in a 60-40 mix at first. Okay, so that's kind of like what a lot of investment advisors recommend: 60-40, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, and then just reshuffle them or rebalance them on a regular basis. What this does essentially is it's when one of them falls, it will automatically shift money over. So it's like if the stock market falls, we'll automatically sell some bonds and buy a stock market. So we're buying in cheaper, essentially, right? So it's going to do that. And it's also going to take it a step further from what investment advisors recommend. And what that's going to do is it's going to change the balance of these based on technical indicators. So we're paying attention to something called RSI, which stands for Relative Strength Index. Okay. And what we're looking at is, so RSI basically changes. We can show you here, RSI. Let me show you guys kind of what it looks like. Relative Strength Index. Okay. So this is basically a measure of if a stock is overbought or oversold, right? So this is what a graph kind of looks like, right? So if you're looking at, this is Visa, right? In this case is overbought if it's over a certain threshold, and it's oversold if it's under a certain threshold. So it kind of tells you when you should be buying or selling it, right? So it's a timing indicator, right? So basically what we're doing here is we have SPY and TLT, 60-40 mix on a regular basis. And then when the RSI falls below 33, which means it's oversold, okay, what we do is we sell all of our bonds and only own stocks, right? And we go full tilt into stocks, right? Because it's oversold. This would be after, like, you know, after the market maybe fell 10, 15%, this is when this kind of thing would happen, right? It will automatically buy into that and own more of that SPY, right? And then it will do the opposite the other way around, right? So when SPY goes up and RSI is too high, specifically over 66, we're going to categorize it as overbought, right? And we're going to say, we don't want to own the stock market right now because it seems a little overheated, too rich for my blood. You know, let's take some money off the table and put that money into bonds temporarily for that time being, right? So that's basically like if the stock market just shot up 20%, it's like, oh, geez, you know, like this sounds like it's about to, you know, have some issues here because there's maybe too many players. We're going to sell it and we're going to buy bonds instead. All right. So we're running the strategy here, and you'll see essentially what it will do is it will go in, it will buy based on the criteria. So we see here that there's nothing yet. We could wait for this thing to actually get started, and you'll see what it actually ends up buying. All right. I believe I ran this earlier today. I believe it's going to do the 60-40 as of right now. So we're kind of in a more normal time period, right? Whereas a little while ago saying get out of the stock market, it's a little overheated, right? And then in last year, it was saying, you know, the stock market was oversold. Let's buy more of it, right? So this thing will actually make you some pretty good money because it's making these intelligent decisions. Oh, so actually, interesting enough, it's saying right now the stock market is overheated according to RSI. Let's get out of the stock market and let's only buy bonds, right? It's only buy TLT. Maybe that's an indication of what might happen, what's to come, you know, which is very true. The stock market has been overheated for a while now, right? We see here that the strategy also performs quite well. This is the back test, right? So when we back test this over that same time period, the 2015 time period, you see that the compound annual growth rate is 15% for it versus the stock market, which is only 12%, okay? But it does it also with a much lower volatility, right? Which gives a much higher Sharpe ratio. So it means you're taking less risk and you're beating the stock market by about 3%, right? It's very nice, right? It also protects your money in a way that, you know, in this case, we had our worst scenario in 2008. We lost 26% in that time period. Whereas we lost, if we were just only in the stock market, you would have lost 50% in the 2008 type period, right? So this thing is protecting your money and also giving you a higher return than the stock market. So win-win, right? And you don't have to do anything, right? You just let this thing run. You can run it on your computer. You can run it on a server like what we do, and just basically does this stuff for you all day long, right? Okay, so I'm going to close that. It's going to sell, right? Then we have another strategy here. This strategy is pretty similar to that technical analysis strategy. And what this one does is it looks at a different indicator. It looks at macroeconomic indicators. So basically, if we zoom up here, it again buys these two symbols, SPY and TLT, right? And then changes the weighting between the two. So it starts off again with a 60-40 and then changes the weighting, not based on the technical indicators, but based on debt, right? So we're looking at how much debt the US economy has taken on over the past 300 or so days, right? And let's run this strategy as well. Okay, I'm gonna get it going here. Turn on the debt trading strategy. Okay, I'll have this run. Okay, so when we run this strategy, right, essentially what we're getting is we're saying that we are going to be investing in stocks and bonds 60-40, right? And then we're saying if there's a lot of spending by the US government happening, right? And keep in mind that this doesn't show up in the numbers for a little bit. So we'll see this very, very soon coming up that, you know, we only want to be doing one thing because and the theory goes, and we can back test as well so we can see it too. Theory goes that if the government is spending a lot of money, it's a good idea to buy stocks, right? Especially over bonds, right? Because bonds are not going to do so well when the government's spending money. You're going to need to finance that somehow, and bond prices will tend to fall during that kind of time, meaning interest rates go up, right? When you fund $6 trillion, believe me, interest rates are going to go up. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that $6 trillion is going somewhere. It's going into the economy, right? And when it goes to the economy, it tends to boost the stock market, right? It causes inflationary pressures in all sorts of assets across the board. So that's the theory, right? We're able to back test it and we're able to actually get pretty good results, which you'll see in a little while. But basically, we will, basically when we run this, we'll see the results and you see that actually beats the stock market and does it with, again, the same thing, a much lower risk profile than if you just own the stock market on its own. Right, so we're beating the stock market in many of these different strategies, which is fantastic. And it's these strategies that you don't have to do anything. You just put it up on a server and just kind of like let it go, right? That's how we do. That's how we manage a lot of our money, right? Okay. Right. As you guys can see, I get messages from Discord all day. There's a lot of activity here on Discord, so I definitely recommend that you guys join. I realize now that you guys probably didn't get that link before. Because I was saying it to the wrong people. So here's that link to Discord, so you guys can actually see what's going on there. All right, definitely a good community to join, so you can learn more about algorithmic trading and that sort of thing. All right, so we're running this back test here. It's taking a little bit of time. All right, we have a few more seconds left. While this is running, do you guys have any questions about where we are so far? You know, what we've gone through so far? You guys can write the questions in the chat or in the Q&A. Okay, so this is completed, right? We see this one. This one's CAGR, so it's about the same as the stock market, right? We're off by a few tiny little things here, right? But you can see that the volatility is quite a bit lower than the stock market itself, right? It's 19% for stock market, 13% for this. The Sharpe ratio is a lot higher because of that. And our max drawdown, the biggest loss we had is only 41% versus 53, right? So because of that, we're able to actually reduce our risk quite a bit while still having very good returns, right? Okay, and then when we go in here, we can see basically what the strategy is doing, and it's recommending a 60-40 mix right now, and that's just because all that government spending isn't represented in numbers yet. It's looking at a 300-day change, right? So definitely something that will happen quite soon, right? So that's the other strategy. Cool. Okay, so that's all of our strategies here. I'm going to take a look at the chat. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it looks good. Thanks, Philip. Okay, so that's all of our strategies, right? Now that we've gone through all of them, right? We have a couple more that we could show you as well, but you know, time permitting, right? When you go through the course, we show you lots and lots of different kinds of strategies. But let's talk about the course, right? Let's talk about how you can actually learn how to build strategies like this of your own, right? And take things, you know, quite a bit further even, right? Here's our course. It's called Algorithmic Trading, okay? The way that you can get to this page is either, you know, you have the slides in front of you, so you can go to the last slide, or second last slide, I should say. There's a link there. Or you could also just go to lumiwealth.com, right? lumiwealth.com. And you would click on our algorithmic trading course. When we scroll down a little bit here, scroll down a bit on our homepage and click here, algorithmic trading. Okay. This is the page I'm going over with you guys. All right. Okay. So the way that our course functions is basically we teach you how to build these kinds of things. We'll walk you through, even if you don't know how to code, we'll teach you how to code from scratch, right? We'll teach you how to do data science. We'll teach you how to build these types of algorithms. We'll teach you how to improve them and that sort of thing. Okay. And there's 3 different ways they can learn this, right? The first way is doing a self-directed plan, right? Which is basically you get the recordings of our past lectures along with a couple other materials that we have as well. You get access to our code and you kind of go on your own pace, right? And you learn this kind of stuff on your own, right? You still get access to our Discord and that sort of stuff as well. Our most popular plan is definitely our live classes, right? So our live classes, what they are is it's essentially kind of like this. It's like over Zoom, right? Where the instructor, either myself or any of our other instructors, they'll be going through a lecture. They'll talk about, you know, kind of how this is how you do it and walk through it. And as they're speaking, you can ask questions, right? Which is really valuable, right? If you're stuck anywhere, you can ask questions. We do lots of workshops as well. So people share their screens and we help them set everything up, right? So it's very interactive. Whereas, you know, if you were to get a class off some like a Udemy or whatever, you just have to watch these videos and, like, to be honest with you, they get really boring, and you don't get to be part of the community, right? So this way you get to be part of the community. You get to not only have access, by the way, when you do the live classes, you have access for life, right? Which means if you take our live classes that, by the way, are starting the end of this month, right? If you take that live class and let's say something happens to you, you know, whatever, something came up with work or you're moving or who knows what, you can retake this course as many times as you want, right? And we keep making the course better and better every time we do it too. So you can retake as many times as you want. You get access to the recordings, you get access to all the future recordings. And then of course, when you're in class with other people, you get to know other people in the class. So it becomes very collaborative, right? We have, like I said, we have this discussion hour now that we do once every week, where basically you talk with other students and you guys communicate around these are the strategies I'm trying. These are strategies that I'm trying, right? So everyone gets a chance to communicate quite a bit through it. And then also in the class itself, we do a lot of project work. So you'll see people present their projects and how those are going. You get to ask a lot of questions throughout the class with the instructors. It's a very good way of learning, right? It's like actually sitting in on a class, right? You get to meet other people, you get to interact, you get to present. There's lots of really cool stuff that's happening. Okay. Then we also have our project help and tutoring plan, which includes all of the above. So each one of these, so the live classes includes everything in the self-directed, right? The project help and tutoring includes everything in the live classes. And on top of that, we'll also spend extra time with you guys, right? So we can get some of our developers to actually help you build some of these algorithms. We'll actually sit down and write some code for you. We can help tutor you through some of this stuff. So we'll sit down one-on-one. If you're stuck anywhere, we'll really give you that extra time and effort to make sure that you get these things up and running and make sure that they're working well, right? So that's what you get from this project help and tutoring plan. You get kind of the white glove service. So you get everything from the live classes plus all this additional stuff. You get all of our resources to help you out with things. We also tend to give these people lots of freebies throughout as well. So here's the pricing for all those plans. We have our self-directed plan. Like I said, this is access to our video library. You also get access to our library of code, and you get access to our Discord channel, our private channels. This is for $650, right? Then we have our live classes. This one's for about $3,000, right? Basically, you get access to everything in the self-directed plan, plus you get access to these live classes, right? Where you get to ask questions to the instructor, where you get to interact with other students, where we'll have these like regular meetings. Like this is like the very interactive, and you really honestly, this is our most popular plan, and people love this thing because you get to interact a lot and you get to know people in the class, and it's like we'll do workshops together to make sure that you're up and running. So it's like if you get stuck or anything, we help you out a lot here. Okay. And then the project help and tutoring plan. This will get you one-on-one time with the instructor, and also get you kind of some of our some of our developers involved if that's what you want, to actually help build out some of your strategies to a certain degree, right? So this is like that white glove service where you get everything from the other ones from before, but you also get access to us like really spending a lot of time helping you out with these things, right? Cool. Okay. Besides that, we also have bundles that we sell. These have become really popular lately. We have another class that's called machine learning that teaches you essentially how to like do like machine learning or AI type stuff. If you think that algorithms are powerful, wait till you see what AI can do for your trading. It's pretty amazing watching what you can do here. It's taught by one of our instructors, Greg, and he's someone that got like funded $10 million from Google Ventures and you know, some Menlo Ventures, I think, as well, like really prominent VC firms. He got a big amount of funding, and basically because he's like the expert in AI, and he helps hedge funds build out AI-based strategies or machine learning-based strategies to execute. I think also, if I'm not mistaken, I think his average returns for his customers are like 45% a year. So he's doing really well. So this machine learning course is very interesting, but it is a little bit more advanced than the one I'm discussing right now. Algorithmic trading is usually where people start. The machine learning course is kind of like what gives you like that extra edge. And a lot of people like buying them together. So these are the bundles, and you save a lot of money when you buy them together, right? You could either buy one self-directed and the other one live, or you could buy both of them live. You could buy all sorts of bundles like that, all right? Okay. And of course, if you guys ever want talkies, click down here, book a call, speak to someone on the phone, and we'll walk you through all this kind of stuff. All right. Now I got a chat here. So let me see what happened in the chat. Crazy question. What type of math skill do you need for this? Good question, Philip. You don't need a lot of math skills, right? We talk about like basic statistics, which if you don't remember what basic statistics are, we'll actually talk about in class. We'll walk you through a lot of that. You don't need to be like this math expert, right? We'll teach you a lot of that kind of stuff. We'll teach you data science and how to analyze things and figure them out. So I wouldn't worry if you're not like, superstar in math, right? We do statistics throughout, but if you don't understand that, we could actually walk you through that as well. It's not super advanced, right? Okay, so here's some more stuff about the course. And then I think you guys are probably very interested in the course curriculum, right? So this is kind of how the course is organized. It's organized into 3 parts, okay? The first part is kind of getting your fundamentals down, right? So it's teaching you how to code, right? We'll teach you from scratch. Even if you don't know how to code, we'll teach you Python. We also give you supplementary materials as well. If you guys are planning on taking this course at the end of the month, I'd recommend that you even sign up earlier so that you can get access to our materials and kind of get a head start on this too, right? But we'll teach you how to code. We'll teach you basically how to do data science. So it's using something called Pandas. It's basically like Excel on steroids. You can analyze like very large amounts of data. Data scientist is one of the fastest growing professions in the world right now. Very well paid. I think the average salary in America is something like 120 or 130,000, right? Very good job, well paid. And we'll teach you those fundamentals as well. So some people take this course because they want to build an algorithm. Some people take this course because they want to learn this new skill that's very valuable. And some people take it for both. So we also teach you a lot of data science throughout this as well. So we'll teach you how to do that sort of thing. Okay. Part 2 is all about applying this stuff to the world of finance, right? And in part 1, we do a lot of like assignments and a lot of like practice questions for you guys. Part 2 is about taking all that and applying it to the world of finance, right? So it's saying basically, how do we download financial data? Where do we get that data? How do we analyze that financial data and kind of get some insights out of it? Right. This is kind of like that mathematics part that we're talking about. This is, we'll teach you how to do this. We'll teach you how to analyze that data and figure out, is this something that makes sense or not? Right. And then what we'll teach you is how to do back testing. Right. So back testing is kind of like what I was showing you before. So we can analyze and see which strategy is going to do well or not. Right. So basically we're saying, this strategy did really well over this time period. So we want to do this, or you want to tweak it a little bit and say, instead of, buying at RSI of 33, we buy at RSI of 34 or something like that. You could tweak the strategies or make strategies of your own and basically back test them and see how they would have done over a previous time period. So, you're confident, right? Because a lot of people come to me and they say, should I know how to trade before I do this? Or if I'm new to trading? I actually think this is a very great way to learn how to trade. Is because we're going to give you a lot of data, and you're actually going to figure out what are the things that work and what are the things that don't, right? A lot of people start trading and just do these like really crazy, reckless things. And that's not a good idea. So here we're teaching you how to use data to inform your trading decisions a lot better, right? So that's essentially what we're doing here, okay, is we're teaching you how to back test those strategies. And we give you a lot of sample strategies too that you can walk through, right? Okay. And then part 3, and by the way, part 2 has, the project throughout is we're showing you essentially how to build out this kind of thing, right? How to do this analysis, right? That's your project throughout part 2. And we have a project throughout part 3, and the whole theme of it is essentially building an actual working trading robot, right? So at the beginning, we're going to make sure that you're set up with a broker. We're going to make sure that we do a bunch of workshops to make sure everything's set up on your computer right. And this way you can actually start running these strategies and practicing with them. And by this time, by this day, you're actually going to have strategies that work and run and automatically trade and buy and sell stuff. And that's going to be going for you. All right. Okay. And then throughout this, we show you many different strategy examples and give you things where you can take it, copy and paste, modify, all that sort of stuff. This is all happening in part 3. And then we also, at the end of part 3, we give you a little bit of an intro to machine learning so you can learn how to do this sort of stuff as well. All right, cool. Then, okay, so that's our curriculum, right? Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to type into the chat. Okay. And then we have 2 classes coming up soon. So we have one class that's starting at the end of the month, June 24, right? Registration closes actually on Monday, right? And this class, make sure that you sign up for it sooner rather than later. Registration, first of all, closes on Monday. But second of all, this way you can get a head start on all these things, because you can look at actually the past recordings and kind of get a head start on a lot of these things you're going to be learning. So that when you go through the class, you get the most out of it, right? This class starts on June 24th. It goes for 12 weeks long, excluding holidays, right? We recommend 8 to 12 hours per week, right? In addition to the actual lectures. The lectures themselves are every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, okay? And the lectures are usually 1.5, maybe 2 hours long each, all right? Okay, and then you obviously you're going to be practicing on your own. You're going to be part of the community. You're going to be asking other people questions throughout the community, and we're going to have a lot of workshops and things like that throughout. Okay, so that's our June class starting very soon. So if you want to register, make sure you do it soon because registration closes very soon. Okay. Then we also have another class that starts in August. This one starts on August 25th, right? It's the same thing, 12 weeks long. We recommend 8 to 12 hours of additional time. And then this one is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific. So the June one is on every Thursday. The August one is every Wednesday, right? And at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's after like people's work hours and that sort of thing. Okay. And then these lectures are, again, 1.5, 2 hours each, right? Okay. And then throughout these classes, you're going to be working on 2 projects. The first project is going to be analyzing your investments, right? So you're going to learn how to, download financial data, analyze and see what might be a good strategy. You're going to be able to back test it and see, okay, this works. This actually makes me money or not, right? You're going to be doing that as project 1. And then project 2 is actually building out this live robot that's going to be trading for you automatically, right? And by the time you get out of this class, you guys are all going to have these trading robots that are buying and selling things, all right? Okay, cool. If you want to read up a little bit about myself, here's a little bit about my background. And we also have testimonials here. We're going to be adding in a few more very soon, but here's some testimonials on some of our past students if you want to read about or listen or read about kind of their experiences and what they were able to get through, all right? So that's at the bottom of the page there, right? You can also see more testimonials if you go to at the bottom of any of our pages and click on testimonials down there, all right? Also, of course, if you have any questions, you can book a call and you can, sign up for, this is essentially the free live class. You can sign up for that as well. All right. Cool. So that's pretty much it for today. That's our classes. Our classes sell out, and I have a little note here that our classes do sell out quite frequently. So make sure that you guys sign up before things fill up too much. We keep our class sizes small because if we have too many people in the class, it kind of ruins it for everyone. So we try to keep smaller class sizes. So we do actually sell out. So make sure that you sign up before that happens as well. All right. Okay, great. What questions do you guys have for me? I know you guys have been asking questions throughout the entire thing, but here's your chance to ask pretty much any questions that you guys have, right? And I'll leave this open. You guys can type in the chat. You guys can type in the Q&A, right? And I'll go through each of your questions, right? Also, make sure that you guys join this this Discord, because you guys can even pose questions in here. We have a lot of discussions around how our alumni are doing and all that kind of stuff. We have discussions around stocks. We have discussions around crypto. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And then, of course, if you end up being one of our students, then you get access to our discussion hour, which happens every week, and you get access to our private channels here for each individual class, right? Okay, cool. So we got a question here. All right, so seems really good. How do you create strategies? So you create the strategies using code, right? So basically, you're going to be in here creating a strategy. This is the code for our technical analysis strategy. You can basically copy and paste this code, modify some things, or you can code it to be to do pretty much exactly what you want, right? It's code, you can do anything with it, right? Here's another strategy, our debt trading strategy. Basically, you write out code and you're able to get this thing to trade, right? And you can run on your computer or you can run it on a server, right? Okay. Another question. So does the discussion hour work for the self-directed courses as well? Yeah, I mean, if you want to join from the self-directed, you could join the discussion hour as well. It's definitely a nice little perk of that that class. It's really interesting hearing from a lot of other people what they're doing. I would also recommend obviously doing the live classes, because then you get a chance to talk to other students during the class. You get to learn from the instructor live and ask questions. So there's a lot of things they can do during the live class as well, right? It's definitely the best way to get the most out of it. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, guys? So another one. So can you run your program and show what type of output it will be showing? So good idea. So we just spent the past few minutes doing that. Maybe you showed up a little late. Is that what happened here, Stuno? Because we spent, yeah. So we spent a lot of time going through this, and I could show you a couple of them. Here's our fast trading strategy. I'm not going to run through them all again because it's going to take too long. But what you could do is go to our YouTube channel, search for Lumibot, and you'll be able to see the recording of this here. So you can watch it there. So search for Lumibot. I'll actually give you, here's the link to the channel, and then it's the live class down here. So you'll be able to watch this over again. But to give you a quick little demo, so you don't have to go through that, here's a little demo. Here's like our fast trading strategy, which is just one of our strategies that we run. We walk through a bunch of different ones. So here's an example of one that basically what it does is it does momentum trading. Okay, so this one, when you run it, it's going to look at these top symbols here, right? So it looks at SPY, GLD, TLT, MSFT, Tesla, MCHI, SPXL, and SPXS. So it looks at all those symbols, and it will buy the top 4 symbols that are doing the best over the past 1 minute, right? So here we go in and we see that it will automatically buy the top symbols, right? So just give it a second. I have to refresh the page. It happens so quickly that sometimes the website can't keep up. There you go. Okay. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I actually ran the wrong strategy. Let me do this again here. Sorry, I ran the momentum strategy. I'm going to run the intraday momentum. Or sorry, our fast trading. So there you go. Now I'm going to run the right strategy. So it'll buy out of those top symbols, there's 6 of them. It'll pick the top 4, and you see that at bottom automatically there, right? Tesla, SPY, Microsoft, and gold, right? And basically what it will do is every 1 minute it will keep looking which one's doing the best, right? And it kind of just only latches on to the ones that are doing the best over this time period, right? And it'll just hold on to those for the next, X amount of time, or for the next 1 minute, and they'll swap them out every minute, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, so Philip, you have a question. So by the way, we could keep this algorithm running, and you'll be able to see here that it automatically is swapping them out. And as I'm talking, I'll just let this thing run in the background. You'll see that every minute it's going to swap them out. It's going to sell one and buy another one, right? So we see here, they're all buys, right? So give it another few seconds, we'll automatically swap them all out. Okay. All right. So question, so there you go. So you see how it sold a bunch and bought a bunch, right? So sold actually 3 of them, sold SPY, Microsoft, and Tesla, and bought MCHI, SPXL, and XPXS. They bought those. Now those are ones that are doing the best, right? So it's just holding on to the ones that are doing the best out of all of them. Okay. All right, and I'll let that run in the background. But if you want to see the rest of them, again, go to our YouTube channel and you can see our recording of this class there. So Philip asks, crazy question. If I became good at this, what are the career opportunities? There's a lot, like learning this kind of stuff definitely has a lot of career opportunities. The whole fintech space as a whole is really well paid, right? And a very good job, right? So I could tell you on average, people that know this kind of skill, like coding in Python, doing data science, this kind of skill usually pays around 120 grand per year, right? That's the average in the United States. However, I could tell you in the finance world is actually quite a bit higher, right? So you could actually get paid quite a bit more than 120 grand a year working in fintech, doing this sort of stuff, right? Shayla asks, is it possible to link this to Robinhood? No, it is not. Robinhood does not have APIs. They do not allow people to do algorithmic trading at all on their platform. So whether this or anything else, you can't link it. However, you can just open up another broker, like for example, through Alpaca. You could use Alpaca, you could use the interactive brokers, and we're adding in more and more brokers over time. But Robinhood specifically does not allow you to do this sort of thing, right? The API, it doesn't only work with Alpaca. So Philip asked if it only works with Alpaca. That's not true. It works with interactive brokers as well, which we're adding in, right? We have 2 brokers, and we're going to be adding in more and more brokers as we go, right? So right now we use Alpaca. I'm just showing the demo in this. We could do interactive brokers as well. Peter is asking, is it still live? Yes, this is live. This is a live class, definitely. Sunil asks, will we get into PDT rule violation if we use a bot? And which broker do you suggest to use which allow trades via bots? I know Robinhood doesn't allow. Yeah, so there's a bunch of brokers that you can trade algorithmically from. Alpaca is probably one of the best ones because it's free trades, just like Robinhood is free trading. So commission-free trades is very good for when you're buying and selling a lot, right? So we recommend Alpaca, but then there's also other brokers that we can work with as well. Like I said, interactive brokers is another one that works right out of the box. If you want to add on other brokers, you could do that too, right? And then will we get into PDT rule violation if we use a bot? It depends what you're doing with the bot. Using a bot, there's no violations. But if you're buying and selling, 1,000 stocks a day, then you're going to need to, abide by the requirements of basically the day trading rules, right? Your pattern day traders, like what the question is here, right? So if you're doing pattern day trading with a bot, then yes, you have to abide by those rules. But if you're not, then you don't have to, right? And a lot of these bots are, a lot of the stuff that we do is like, it's day by day. We don't tend to, I mean, there's a lot of strategies that we show you that do this day trading stuff, right? And you can do that as well. A lot of the bots that we run personally are like rebalancing over time, like that. We find that we make a lot of money doing that kind of stuff, right? How can someone trade? So Peter asks, how can someone trade with a small account using this? I think Alpaca allows you to open an account with like as little as like $10, right? So you really don't need a lot of money to get started with this. And also Alpaca, for example, allows you to do paper trading, right? Which is one of the reasons why we chose these guys, because it allows us to demo things to you guys and allows us to like try things without actually putting real money behind it. So even if you don't have any money put into an account, you could still get started with this sort of thing. Carlos asks, what about Fidelity? Do they have APIs? I'm not sure. If they do have an API, it's probably not very good. We recommend, we use interactive brokers and Alpaca. We have those out of the box. TD Ameritrade is another really good one for bots, for APIs. TradeStation is another really good one for APIs. So those are good brokers there. What about other APIs or ABI? I'm not sure what you mean by ABI. If you want to clarify that, Caleb. Philip says, good job, looks good. Thank you. Thank you, Philip. It's awesome. Peter asks, can you trade options with this also? Yes, you can trade options with this as well. And we're actually coming out with an entire course just on options trading. And we're going to be doing a demo of our options trading capabilities in a few weeks as well. So you'll be able to see that. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. If you subscribe and you hit that button, when we go live, you actually see this thing come up, because we're going to be doing this live, demonstrating some options trading strategies, right? How will we be running another question is, how will we be running the bot continuously? Do we need to keep laptop open 24/7 for days to trade and months? It depends how you want to do it. You can put it up on a server. I can show you how to do that. It's very easy to put it up on a server. You could just run it from like the Google Cloud, right? Or you could run it off your laptop. It just kind of depends on what you prefer to do, right? But you could run this on a server, or you could run this on your own laptop. Me personally, with my own money, I run it off a server, because just in case power goes out or something, I don't want to, I'd rather have it up on a server. It's just running on its own, right? Okay. And then Peter says, so in order to use the bot to stay within PDT limits, we would have to teach the bot to swing trade. You could do that. Yeah. I mean, if you want to be a pattern day trader, you can do that, right? You can have it trade as much as you want. I think there's account limits and things like that for it. Or you could use it for swing trading. You could do that as well, right? It's code. You can get this thing and do pretty much anything that you want, right? So imagine anything that you would do in your in your trading, you could pretty much have the bot do as well, right? Yeah, no, I agree with you, Peter. Yeah, definitely. So if you want to do swing trading, you could do that. If you want to do day trading, you could do that. It's just code. You could do pretty much anything you want, right? Caleb says ABI equals application blockchain integration. Sorry, Caleb, I also don't know what that is. So I'm going to say it's a pretty safe bet that we don't have it, right? I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that it means that somehow we're integrating our bots into the blockchain. We plan on doing this kind of stuff, just not yet, right? We will be doing these kind of things soon going forward. Okay. So Sunil asks, how much profit loss your strategy had in the past 30 days? I'm asking in case I just used one of your strategies and I don't have my strategy. Well, I showed you some of our returns here. I'm not going to log into my account right now, but some of our past returns. This is, how we did last year, for example, right? When the S&P 500 was up 17%, we were up 53%, right? So that's one example from our brokers. I'm not going to log in right now because that's going to take a while and kind of a security threat. But that's just an example of one of our investment portfolios that we manage and how well it's done, right? Peter says, you mentioned that we'll be coming out with an options bot. Yes, we will definitely be coming out with an options bot, and we're going to be doing another demo like this in a few weeks, showing off a few different option strategies and showing the options bot actually working, right? Currently, Alpaca doesn't offer options at the moment, so we would have to use IB. Yeah, that's correct. We're going to be doing this through Interactive Brokers, or we're going to be doing the options trading through them, all right? Cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm actually really excited for this demo of the options trading bot, because I think trading options, there's a lot of potential to make money, and options lend themselves really well to bots because doing this manually by yourself is quite complicated. So using a bot to analyze option strategies and trade on your behalf is a very valuable thing, right? Which is why we're very excited about this options trading capability, and also about our options trading course that we're going to be adding in. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. We're on the same page here, Peter. Okay, Sunil asks, could we get a link of the recording of the session? I missed starting webinar. Yeah, so here is a link again to our YouTube channel, okay? Go to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe as well when you're there. But it's on our YouTube channel here. So this is a live session. As soon as I'm done this live session will turn into a recording, right? So actually, let me even go into it here, right? And I'll send you specifically a link directly to this this recording. So right now, again, it's live. As soon as we get off of this, it's going to stop being live. It's just going to be a recording, so you guys can rewatch it if you want. Okay, good, thank you. Yeah, great, perfect. Yeah, so make sure you say, by the way, make sure you click on these links and save them right now, because as soon as the session ends, you're not going to have access to this anymore, right? The chat window disappears after we get off of this, right? So make sure that you save these links so you can actually go in and check it out. And by the way, here's also a link to our presentation in case you missed that too. So you have a link to our presentation, you have a link to our YouTube channel, and you have a link to the actual recording, which will be available after we get off of this. All right. And that way you can go in, you can see the demo of all this different stuff, right? Okay, great. Lots of questions today. You guys this is awesome. I love this. I love active groups like this. All right. Any other questions, guys, before we call it for today? Thank you, Caleb. All right. And thank you for being here too. Thanks, Rob. I'm considering. Awesome. Yeah, our classes start in, or our next class for this starts in about 2 weeks, right? So if you guys want to join the class, I'd actually recommend to join the class sooner rather than later. Our registration closes on Monday. And also just for the fact also it'd be good to sign up sooner rather than later, because then you get access to all the course materials and you can get started so that when you actually do go through the class, you're a little bit ahead, and that way you get the most out of the class itself, right? I always find students do the best in that case, like sign up like 2 weeks early and start going through it a little bit and learning. Philip asked, is a Mac okay for this? Absolutely. I'm using a Mac and I'll be showing you on a Mac. Yeah, it definitely works on a Mac. 100%. Yeah, it's the only thing that I use, right? So yeah, definitely. All right, great. Any other questions, guys? Honestly, thank you very much for being here. This has been a pleasure. You guys have been a very active group, and I love this. And thank you very much for being attending this this little demo here. All right, thank you, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Hope to see you in class. Starts in 2 weeks. All right. Have a great day. Goodbye.